Hey everyone, welcome to AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. I'm Madalyn Sklar, helping content creators and entrepreneurs master AI tips, tools, and shortcuts. Now, in today's session, we're going to talk about Claude watermarks. I know we talked about it last week. I've got more information for us to discuss, and we're going to look at some various ways around this. And it's going to be other platforms. It's not going to be restricted to just Claude. Google's already doing it, and others are going to be following suit. We're also going to discuss ChatGPT's new desktop app and how it sucked the living daylight out of my laptop's battery. Plus, some interesting new features in ChatGPT that are worth looking at. So let's dive right in. I'm going to bring up our panelists today. Hello, Barb and Rachel. How's it going with you ladies?
Good. I'm still here on my couch, but doing okay.
You've been on the couch for a while recovering from your injury.
8 weeks to yesterday.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is. It's gone by really fast, though. Like the first month is kind of a blur because, it's like you're in pain and you're taking meds and icing and like you're just so focused on that you kind of miss life. So it's been a very calm, quiet month.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Me and Pip get our quality time in. I don't know where he is now.
Well, you're here every week with us, or most weeks when you're able to, and I know you're super busy, but because life has slowed down for you've been coming every week because you're laid up on the sofa, and I completely understand. I had my last big surgery was in 2020, and I had a foot surgery, so I was laid up, not as long as you, but the recovery, I remember just being, leg propped up and keeping it elevated and trying to have my laptop in my lap and try to still work and stuff. And life changes when you're in a situation where you can't be, you really realize like, wow, how different life is when we're not able to function at the level we normally do and just getting around.
I will never take for granted walking down the stairs without falling. Like I've lived in this house for 14 years. I've never had a problem. And of course now I have. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad you've recovered and you're getting better and healing. But it's been so nice that in this slowdown that you've been more available to come hang out here with us.
It's always so fun.
Yeah, it's always great when you're able to join us because you always bring a lot of interesting things to the table. And same when we have Jim and Bez, and I know they're busy and they got, everybody's busy, and we do this right in the middle of the afternoon, or not morning time for like out west, but
it's 10 o'clock for me.
It's 10 o'clock for you, but like it's 12 p.m. for me, so it's lunchtime, and then for people on the East Coast, 1 o'clock. So middle of the or start of the afternoon or middle of the morning for people. So we're all busy, we all have our work lives, and I'm glad, Barb, that you're always here every week with me. So sometimes it's just us two gals, but you always have such interesting insights and such a long history of just coolness of all the things that you have done and currently do. So it's just a great dynamic here, no matter who's here.
I agree. And I learned so much from you gals, seriously. And the guys too. I wish they could come more often, but
it would be great. I would love that too. But it's all good. The thing is, and for those that don't know the longer history here, this Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern started in 2015 with my Twitter Smarter Twitter chat. And the anniversary just came because it was at the end of July was the anniversary of it. And it was just a little Twitter chat I wanted to start. I'd already been doing Twitter chats for many years, and it's a great way to bring people together. Barb, can you mute if you don't mind? And back then, if you wanted to bring a group of people together and basically have community on Twitter, the Twitter chat was the way to do it. An old school Twitter chat where you just use the hashtag. As long as that hashtag's in your tweet, we're all just hyper focused for an hour on, this was Twitter Smarter. So, for an hour, we're all just reading every tweet that has # Twitter Smarter in it. And if you forget to put the hashtag in, we're not seeing your tweet during that hour. So who knew that would be an amazing way to bring people together and to have community, and the community I was able to build from that was incredible and lasting all these years. So now here we are, 2026, and we're still going strong, but it's not Twitter smarter anymore, because let's face it, Twitter is not Twitter. X is very different. And while I was known for teaching Twitter and being like this Twitter guru, I mean, I was definitely the big Twitter person, because so many of the experts left Twitter to whatever the new shiny object would be at the time. But I always stayed, I was, true to Twitter back then. And so things change, things shift, and you pivot. And I do way more than just teach Twitter. So I love that I still keep this 1 hour time slot all these years. And now with, something I'm passionate about, AI. So AI shortcuts to work smarter. And here we are today. But, it's just great having conversations and using the tools, the technology we have today. Back then, it was the hashtag Twitter chat. But here in 2026, we're utilizing live streaming, which is such a great way to bring people together. And right now, we're far and wide on social media. I'm so glad I'm back on my Facebook Live, because Facebook put me in Facebook jail for about 3 months. Incredibly frustrating. It had nothing to do with my business life, but they're very strict what you can and can't talk about. But we are currently on my Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. And then Rachel and Barb, y'all are both kind enough to have us. I know, Rachel, we're on your Facebook and X, and Barb, we're on your Facebook and YouTube. So thank you. So we are just spread out online right now. And just for anybody that's new here, anything we discuss, any videos we watch today as a group, I will have the links to those in my YouTube description for today's video. So if you just go to Madalyn Sklar on YouTube, later this afternoon, I will be sure to put all the links in there. But you know what? Before we dive in and talk about all things AI, Rachel, I tell you what, in this AI world, where everything we see, you can just tell now is written by AI. Not to say that's a bad thing. I use AI a lot with my writing, because I've never thought of myself as a decent writer. I'm an okay writer, but I'm not that great. And with ChatGPT, it allows me to just take my thoughts and ideas and put it in a way that's like, wow, this is like so much better. And it's not like, oh, I'm cheating. A lot of people do cheat, or like, oh, I'm just going to be sneaky, or let me put this into my AI and whatever it spits out, I'm just copying, pasting, and not even proofing. So no, a lot of us don't use it that way, but everybody uses it however they see fit, what works for them. And I love how it works for me, but you're a writer. You're a true writer. Thanks. And I love your Substack, and how refreshing this week when I came across your most recent post. And it's just so nice to just read real things that did not come from AI. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I really enjoyed this, especially you really going to detail your story about spending 8 weeks on the sofa and what it's taught you about life and writing. So I definitely urge everyone to take a moment when you have some time to relax and read through this, because you really shared just some interesting thoughts on slowing down. And I don't know, do you want to share a little bit about this?
Sure. It's just funny that I had no intention of writing anything like this. And then I was talking with a fellow writer client who said, I love your Substack, and have you written anything about your break? And I was like, I haven't, because I don't want everyone to feel like they have to, say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this happened. Like, I love that people are so kind about it. But I felt like I didn't want it to be about me, pay attention to me. Right. So I had to find the hook. And for me, the hook was writing about how it related to writing, because I've been writing since I was 10 years old. So once I found that, then I was able to kind of just, and lists really do very well. Here's what I learned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing. And people can skip over what might not relate to them. But what's been really lovely is people giving me feedback about how it's so encouraging for them, because a lot of people, I think I read somewhere like several 100,000 people break a bone every day in the United States. It might even be up to 1 million. And so I was
Wow.
like, okay, clearly I'm not the only one. So I thought, well,
Wow.
if it really helps somebody else, then honestly, that's always really kind of my driving force, is to just let people know they're not alone.
I love that. It was just such a
Yeah.
nice read and just
Thanks.
feeling like, what a great way to connect with someone where it just doesn't have any kind of AI feel. And again, not like it's bad that, there's
Right.
people that use AI. Again, I use AI quite a bit with my writing. It helps me tremendously. But
And I'll have to say, I use it to help me outline, because I'll just put in a bunch of words and I'll be like, okay, I need an outline. I can't figure this out. So like, I have no issue utilizing AI to do that for me, but it's not pumping out my copy. It's taking my thoughts and trying to put them in a more coherent fashion. And I also think, as a small business person, it's very helpful to, I use this example a lot. Take someone's Amazon copy and transcribe it in a way that I can use it for social media or something like that. Because this is approved copy by a client. So I'm not there to change it, but I want to put it in a format that makes sense. So for repurposing and things like that, I think everybody should get used to doing stuff like that, because you can hire me. I'm not using AI for everything, of course. It's me. You're paying for my expertise. But I think it's just a smart shortcut for people. The other
yeah.
side of it is, well, then you're taking away a job from somebody who would be able to do that. And I already have somebody. I have a graphics team. I have an assistant. I'm already paying people to do stuff. So for me, that argument doesn't really fly. But
Yeah.
everybody's choice to do what they want.
I just love how AI allows us to do more. Like I can get so much more done quicker
Yeah. I
because of
have a
it.
dyslexic client who's writing their second book using ChatGPT. It's her work, but she can't put it together in coherent sentences because of the dyslexia. So she's like, I would never have been able to even write a book, let alone publish one. And now my second one, without the use of this tool. And my final thought is, somebody said that a lot of these arguments about not using AI and that it's cheating and all that are very ableist. And I hadn't thought of it that way until I started talking with my dyslexic client. And I thought, it's kind of amazing how life-changing it can be for somebody with a disability.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I mean, it's just well, and we talked about that a little bit last week, and, I love some of the AI tools I use because of my wrist issues. That's,
Whisper Flow. Yeah.
Whisperflow is just an amazing AI tool, definitely the best voice to text dictation tool out there, but the way it utilizes AI, not to write for you, but to
No.
fix mistakes and
Yeah.
just make it more with clarity. And and you can have it so it knows, well, when you're texting and you want to be more casual versus an email where you're more professional.
Mhm.
There's so much it can do is incredibly impressive. And so I love different ways that AI can just help me with a variety of things, but disabilities is definitely, a good aspect of that that helps a lot of people.
And even in the short term, like another client of mine is having carpal tunnel surgery
Uh-huh.
and won't be able to, and he's getting them done at the same time, bless his heart. And he said, how am I going to work? And I said, I went to your school and I got the link to get over to Whisperflow. And I
Oh,
said,
cool.
yeah, I'm like, you need this. And he got back to me and he's like, wow, this is amazing.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
Anybody that's just having it, because it's great for people with carpal tunnel for sure, or any kind of wrist, or just not having dexterity in your fingers anymore. As we're
Yeah.
aging, it gets so hard just to even open a jar.
Oh my gosh. If AI could open my jars for me, I'd be so, so
Exactly. Well, I want to dive into some of the AI stuff because I do need to stop by the top of the hour, or at least slow us down by then. So I do have lots to discuss. But last week the big news that we were talking about was the whole Claude watermark thing. That was brand new last week, where Anthropic says Claude is going to be inserting watermarks when you're using it. And so a lot of people have been kind of up in arms. Then we come to find out, well, Gemini apparently has already been doing that. And we know ChatGPT won't be far behind. So I've got several videos where we can learn a little bit more about this and how it'll affect us. So I'm going to first start with this video.
Whether you should be concerned. Spoiler alert, you should be a little concerned. Okay. Claude is watermarking by changing the distribution of tokens. So your tokens are drawn from a distribution. I don't know if you knew this. It's not a linear thing where they pick one token off the assembly line and that's the next token. It's actually a distribution. And so Claude pulls the next token from a probability distribution around what the next token should be based on tokens so far. That's how it's always worked. Now, when you are trying to put a watermark on something, what you're doing is you're shifting that distribution and you're shifting it a secret amount. And so there's a cryptographic hash, it shifts the mask of the distribution a little bit. And so it basically looks like the curve goes from here to here, and you would never know because it doesn't change the semantic meaning. It's still inside the picture that you're trying to paint when you want the AI to come back with a story. And so it's still going to sound like the same story. The narrative is going to sound the same. You won't really be able to read it and tell, but very subtly, the distribution of which tokens have been picked has changed. And so the concern that people have is that when you do that, you open up a lot of other downstream risks that aren't well thought through. And by the way, the reason they say they're doing this is the EU regulation, but the EU regulation doesn't require them to go as far as they're going. And so I find that interesting. So anyway, they are doing next token prediction, masking, which allows them to watermark something. They can see absolutely everything that Claude has generated. What does this allow them to do? This allows them to, one, know exactly where Claude is being used anywhere in the world. Two, it allows them to know when companies are using Claude for documents, et cetera, and make the case to companies, maybe you don't need as many people. Three, it allows them to sort of have a piece of IP conversations if they want to have them and if the EULA allows them to. Now that last one, Anthropic may not be interested in, but the IP conversation is going to be really relevant for code bases everywhere, because code bases are suddenly going to be like, okay, well, how much of this code was written by Claude? Well, now we can tell. Let's apply this cryptographic hash and let's see how much was written by Claude. And now you're going to have conversations about IP rights. You're going to have a conversation about how much of the code base is something that we want to use. Can we just recreate it? It's going to open up a whole mess. Now, is Anthropic doing some of those things now? They are not. They say they're just doing this to comply with the EU regulation. I am not saying that they're going to companies and saying, look at all of your documents that are using Claude. But it is certainly on the table for them to do that. It is certainly on the table for anyone to do that who has the cryptographic key, not just Anthropic. They can go and sort of make that claim. And what's problematic about that is anyone who has worked in knowledge work will tell you, if everything that goes through Claude, including my ideas, ends up with this cryptographic hash, it may look like it was Claude's work, but it was me. It was my ideas. It was my thinking. It was not Claude's. And Claude may have put some semantic meaning on it or maybe arranged it into sense, but it was my thinking, it was my ideas that got there. And so I think that the other risk for this is that people will start to misperceive a cryptographic hash as authorship. It's not authorship. It never was authorship. This is a writing tool. It's a token prediction tool. That's what's going on. And as a bonus risk, one more thing, if you're technical, if you're shifting the cryptographic hash, why would your code be as clean and as elegant as it could be? It might not be. It might not be the cleanest, most elegant solution because you're using the cryptographic hash to shift the distribution. It might not be the cleanest solution technically to the problem. So there's a lot of issues with it. And yes, the EU did require watermarking. So some of it is required in the EU specifically. That doesn't mean it has to be worldwide. It doesn't mean it needs to be on every single thing that Anthropic puts out. This was a choice by them, and it's a choice everyone should know about.
I don't understand half of what he talked about because it's quite technical, but it's just interesting. And he's like one of the top experts, so I trust anything he says. So it's interesting that he says they're not really using it yet. I know when Anthropic put the information out recently, they said they were going to start with their newest model, And then I think with the other models that everybody currently uses that it sounds like they're going to start. I don't think it'll be retroactive. I don't know. But it's just interesting that they're saying it's because of those EU restrictions, but he just said, well, yes, but. So any thoughts on that before I play the next video? Because I mean, I didn't really understand a lot of that.
Yeah, I didn't understand a lot of that either, but
it's interesting. It's interesting
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and
no, it's good.
And it's sparking conversation.
Mhm.
And many times when I see kind of things that are super techy like that, I just kind of go through the comments because maybe somebody will dumb it down a bit, so I can
feel the same way.
Understand a little bit more. I'm a big fan with TikTok, YouTube, any place where there's conversations is I like to read the comments. Many times you can learn so much more. And a great case in point here on this live stream, I think it was maybe about a year ago or so, there was this was before ChatGPT images got a lot better, and a lot of us were using Nano Banana. And Nano Banana was good, but it was before Nano Banana was great. And there were some issues with their logo watermark, and then also with the sizing if you wanted a YouTube thumbnail. And I remember I found a really great video where the guy had a workaround. His workaround was complicated, but I was like, oh, I should play this on the show to show people because here's an interesting workaround. I don't think I'll do it because it was too much work. But in the comments, somebody talked about a better workaround that I discovered. I mean, it was buried in the comments. And I was so glad I went through it. And that's how I first found the whole Google Labs site. And that was that other image tool they had, but it was almost like these were beta products. And it worked. It was like Nano Banana at the time, but on steroids. It was still through Google. It was still a Google thing, but it was on this separate, like as if they're testing it, but it's available to the public. You just got to know about it. And I just remember finding that in the comments. I'm like, oh my God, this guy has a better, easier workaround. So I remember sharing it here and I'm like, hey, I got a new workaround for a couple of these issues when you're for YouTube thumbnails. But I just don't ever discount the comments because many times I'll learn even more. He put out another video. I think this one's less techy. So it's hard to get the starting point on TikTok videos. So hold on, let me see if I can get it right.
So I'm getting this question a lot, and the answer, very unfortunately, is yes. If you upload your own original IP, your own work, anything you've authored yourself, and you say, hey, Claude, can you make this edit to it? Or, hey, can you spell check it for me? Something really minor even. When it comes back, what Anthropic has told us is that they will have watermarked that text. Now, I'm not quite sure how that will work in situations where you say, for example, please copy this out word for word exactly as I have given it to you. And the only exceptions you have are in cases where it's typos. Looking at the way they've described their watermark, it seems like it would be difficult for them to enforce a watermark and also follow instructions. But they have said they will find ways to watermark every single thing that comes out of Claude. And I think we should believe them. I think we should take it seriously. And certainly in the case where you're asking for any kind of substantial edit, anything where words are changed, you can be quite confident that it will be watermarking your text, your IP, as if it came from and was authored by Claude. And yes, that is as much a problem for me as it is for the rest of us. I don't like it either. And I think it's a very poor choice.
That's quite concerning. So if just with your own intellectual property and you're putting it through these platforms.
Exactly. It's terrible.
That's a concern. So I like his videos because he tells it like it is. And, the thing is, we just need to be informed and aware. I know with like ChatGPT, they have like this new health feature. They have that finances feature. I know one of our episodes here was the whole, you can now put all your financial data through ChatGPT and it can do this and that. And at first I was a hard no. I know on our episode, hard no. And then Christopher, my friend Christopher, who's here in the live chat, was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to use it. And he had he's like, this is good. It's like I needed to hear someone I know that went for it. And then I started thinking, well, I mean, look at how much our data is already out there. And plus I was like, you know what? I do have some of those tools that where you feed it your banking info, like Rocket Money. There's all these different ones, right? Where you give it your financial info and we all just assume it's secure, right? I mean, who knows? And it's just a tool that makes things easier for you. So then I really had to rethink it, and I decided, well, let me give it a try. If I don't like it, I'll undo it, and maybe it'll actually help me save money because I could have it analyze stuff, right? And it did. It was actually very helpful. And it helped me. I really was like, okay, let's look at things I could cut and then help me walk through. I mean, one of the things I remember discussing it here was I was paying a pretty substantial amount annually to be able to have my domain name, MadalynSklar.com, the way I had it parked to use the .com for email, just so I could have Madalyn at MadalynSklar.com. And I just did the easiest, simplest way I knew how, which was directly through GoDaddy. And no, it was through GoDaddy, but then they used like Microsoft, something with Microsoft. And it's a bit pricey. And it's not like it was a have to have, it was a nice to have, but I started thinking, you know what, this charge is coming soon. I bet there's a better way that's not so costly for this little thing I'm trying to do to have this one email address point to it. And ChatGPT came up with all kinds of options, and it was able to reduce the amount I pay annually by a huge percent. I'm like, wow. And it was all started because I decided to try their new finances feature. Now they have a health one now. And it's like, well, I've actually have put in some health info in ChatGPT before and had it explain lab reports and things like that. So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. You have to go with your gut and what feels right for you. But just watching these videos talking about the whole Claude, Anthropic with Claude, and learning about how, like, you put your IP in, it's going to change things up, and think of it as its own. At minimum, you just want to make sure you're not having these AI platforms train on your data. But who knows? They probably are anyway, even though we have it turned off, right? I mean, I think these days, none of us are surprised by anything. I mean, think back early days with like when passwords became, have a strong password for all your different things, and online banking was new. And then you'd hear that news story. Yeah, an executive at such and such bank or whatever had their laptop stolen, and it had like all the passwords for all the customers. And I think we're so conditioned now, all these years, probably, I guess, decades later, it's like, yep, it's just, it happens all the time. And I just feel like, well, is our stuff truly safe?
Who knows? I mean, my older sister has made the decision to not be on any social media at all, and she thinks that's going to keep her out of a Google search. And I'm like, girlfriend, you own a home, so
yeah, our stuff is out there. Our stuff is out there everywhere.
It is too funny.
It is hard to not have a digital footprint.
It is really hard.
Very hard.
I did read a very interesting article. I don't know where I saw it, so I'm going to have to go search for it in my history. But it talked about AI being the ultimate open source.
Mm-hmm.
And remember how, 90s, 2000s, even early 80s, we wanted everything to be open source. And then Napster happened, and what's proprietary and all that stuff, right? Yeah. But they made a good argument for somebody, not saying our account information should be open source, but what it's being trained on should be. And I think honestly it is. I don't know if you saw this article. It came out yesterday or the day before that Amazon is purchasing thousands, millions of rare books.
I saw that.
Scanning them, ripping them up, and then burning them.
Destroying them. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I mean, when I first saw that, I'm like, is this even real?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
That's
Because
true.
a journalist, I don't remember where they're from, put an Apple tag in one of the rare books that they sold, so they were able to
Oh.
track it, and they knew exactly when it basically died.
Oh, man. That's
So
terrible.
yes, but you know
Lot of
what?
shady stuff.
But the one thing that people don't realize, and Barb, you may know that about this because you've been around for a long time, is when books don't sell, they're called remainders. And
Right.
if remainders don't end up getting distributed to thrift stores or eBay or whatever, they get destroyed as well. So
Right.
burning books happens as a way to get rid of the physical evidence anyway in the publishing industry that most people are not aware of.
Wow. Thank you for enlightening
It's
us on
true.
all that.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like
Yeah.
where did books go to die? Apparently to the remainder bin.
But first they got to scan it into
First they got
AI.
to scan and learn. Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
think
Well,
Amazon's
not
been doing that for years anyway. Just
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead, Barb.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think when they're trying to train the AI, though, they can even do the audio reading the book, and then before it's ever saved, they can run the AI through that, and it becomes a new edition. And I've
Oh.
actually met folks who are doing that kind of thing under contract, and it is not, it's there's two sides of it, or maybe more. But the two I think of, I mean, the realism of the author, and they're having their book out there and they're still alive and they're making money from that book and so forth. That's like totally wrong. But then you've got where we have copyright laws and how long things are out there before they become public domain and so forth. We need to preserve history. And I think that's one of the issues now that but by having these tools to work with, we can do better jobs at that. Also, our schools are better today than they were 100 years ago. And as far as people being able to learn the tools to write, communicate effectively, those have changed. And so it's bound to be a better edition. And I know in my own inventory, because I did online, I mean, my role was to work with Macmillan, other major book companies to get their authors to appear on America Online and Prodigy and CompuServe back in the day. So typically that publisher would send me a copy of the book before the author made their appearance. So and a lot of the authors actually autographed them for me. So I have a lot of those. I even have one autographed by Donald Trump when he did the Art of the Deal.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately, my son
Long
took
time
it.
ago.
But I'm just saying he was an author too,
Yeah.
and all of the Oprah stuff and so forth and so on. So now I'm looking, what am I going to do with all this inventory? And I'm at the age I am, what do? Do you put it out in a yard sale? Do you take it to the dump? How do you handle all of that? And so it can happen to anybody. And I think what we've got to understand, I just turned to ChatGPT and I said, hey, I need some help, because I know that some of this,
Yeah.
I've got priceless autographs here, that at least they're priceless to me, I thought, and so I got all kinds of helpful tips on what to do and to do it the right way. But you also, there is nothing like common sense and logic. If you bottom line, when it gets to it, from the time you're little, I think your parents drill that into you. And if it feels like AI, it probably is,
Right.
And that very thing happened to me this morning when one of my balloon pilots he went into ChatGPT and put his background in there and asked ChatGPT to have some fun with it. But it came out with all of his educational background, because he'd fed it into ChatGPT, things about him that those of us in the ballooning industry didn't know a thing about. And I mean, he's really, he's a professor at a college. None of us knew that. We thought of him as a balloon pilot, but the way it read, the little dashes, the things that we see in ChatGPT, we hate the EM dash, and it's all over the place. And even if you command it not to, it hiccups every now and then.
Right.
But little signals. And then I'm looking on my window on ChatGPT, it says AI authorship analysis. And so it went through, I told him, I put it in ChatGPT to ask it, is this, I'm having difficulty with this. Do you think this is original or produced by AI? And it actually flagged it, told me exactly where it was AI. And because the author did, he's a sharp fella, and he went in and edited it like we would do, if you do any writing or anything. So it's quite fascinating. So I don't think it's going to go away. You just have to be responsible.
100% with that, for sure. And I want to play another video, last one on the whole Claude and watermarking thing. I know we covered it last week, but it was still so new, and I've found other articles. I know last week there was a tool. So there's going to be a tool for this one too, and I actually like this one better. So let me show you all. It's a short video, and then I will show you this watermarking tool she developed. And this is one of the experts that I trust.
Here's how to remove the Claude watermark for free. ChatGPT and Claude now watermark text that you can easily remove it from both. Go to this website and paste in your text, or you can upload files. This free tool will automatically analyze everything, look for any watermarks, and remove them. And all you have to do is copy the clean text or download the clean file. This tool is 100% free. Please share it if you find it useful.
He says it so fast, but the good news is I've got it. I'm going to show y'all. I've been playing with it, and it works really well. She developed it. She's pretty well known for developing tools and doing all that. So I'll share the link too, but let me show y'all this tool. So it's her own watermark removal tool, and it doesn't have to be just for Claude. I played with it this morning. Let me show y'all this is the link to it. Watermark, I have it at the bottom of the screen if anybody's just listening. Look on here, watermark.sabrina.dev will take you to this site. And what she developed is pretty cool here. So, and she tells you right here, the steps. Add your text or one file, press the clean button, and copy or download the clean version. So I wanted to try this out and see about this. So let me show you what I did. I'm going to show you my ChatGPT, I think, when I was trying this out this morning, because I'm pretty impressed with this. But I'm going to first show you like what I did with ChatGPT. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process and then demo it for you. So we're going to go over to my ChatGPT, and I wanted to try that tool. So all I said to ChatGPT was, hey, can you give me some new tweets to post talking about me and how I help people learn the ins and outs of AI? All I wanted to do was to write something. So again, this is ChatGPT, not Claude. So I don't want anybody to think that this particular tool, watermark.sabrina.dev, I just showed y'all, is specifically just for Claude. It's for any AI. So what I did is it gave me these 3 different versions. So I took this first version right here. AI doesn't have to feel complicated. So I literally copied it. And I'm going to go over, let me pull up the other screen. They don't make this easy on StreamYard. I have to do these one at a time, but I'm going to basically demo this to show you what exactly I did in trying this out, and I was impressed. So right here, I'm going to do the Claude rewriter. So I'm going to check that. And now it says for pasted text only. So down here, I'm going to paste that text. So this is what ChatGPT gave me as a tweet idea. So I'm going to click rewrite pasted text. So it's detecting the AI and it rewrote it. And what it does, it rewrites it a little bit differently. And my understanding and my research on all of this stuff with the whole, how AI is detected is the writing style is a big part of it. It sounds like it's a variety of things. I think some of it is super techie that I'll never understand, but some of it is the writing style. So what it does here is it kind of rewrites it. So instead of the first line being AI doesn't have to feel complicated, it changes it to AI doesn't need to seem complicated. So it changed a few words. So I thought that's interesting, but it does it basically for the whole thing. If I put it right here, we can see both. So up here, I help entrepreneurs, creators. So it leaves most of it, but I help entrepreneurs, creators, and business owners figure out how to actually use AI. So down here, it's I show entrepreneurs, creators, and business owners how to put AI to work. So it's just adjusting it a little bit differently, but I just want to try this out. So I hit the copy, and then I came over to X. Bring that up. Came over to X, and of course, it's not showing you the right screen. Give me a moment. I have to do these one at a time. Okay, so there's a tweet, and I basically, I mean, I just did it live, so it's probably a little bit different than what we just looked at. But I just basically demoed it myself, put it up. Now, that's not to say, is it going to go through if somebody wants to go use an AI detection tool? It's like, well, let's see if Madalyn's really writing her tweets or is she using AI? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. All I know, AI detection tools I've played with in the past almost always get it wrong. It'll tell me something I wrote off the top of my head is AI written, and it wasn't. So I just want to be aware of tools that might help me. So I trust this gal. So watermark.sabrina.dev, I would recommend holding on to that link. There may come a time where you might find that tool useful. I don't think it's so much now because I don't think these tools are really just, we know Google is, but will it make a difference? I mean, really, if you're an author and you write, Rachel, aren't there restrictions like a lot of these, like if you write a book and you want it in Amazon, I mean, don't they have rules on like how you can and can't use AI as an author?
Yeah, well, you have to reveal what percentage of the book was AI aided.
Right.
And they pretty much the industry standard is to use Panagram, which Substack just adopted. So interestingly, I wrote that post, right? The one on my sofa for 8 weeks, but I ran it through Panagram and it said something like 9 or 10% AI assisted. And
Wow.
I didn't, and I wrote that, like I hand wrote that, and then I put it in. So, there are false positives, and that's what a lot of people are seeing. They're putting in their own writing from 5, 10, 20 years ago, and it's coming up as AI assisted. And then people say, well, of course it is, because it trained on our books. So can it not recognize that? Like there's such nuance about, and like you, Madalyn, I don't understand all the details about it, but I just think it's inescapable and there's going to be false positives. What's happening though in the publishing industry is people are losing deals, multi-million-dollar deals that even went to auction because somebody got a whiff of AI or Panagram said, oh no, this is, whatever. And then they found that the AI had been learning on this person's writing previously. So it's a very difficult time in publishing right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, we just don't know how all of this is going to wash out, but it's just good to learn as much as you can, be aware how will it affect you in your work. If it even will. And then if there are tools that might help you at some point, it's good to know. So I like her tool. I'm definitely going to hold on to that because that might be useful at some point. I don't really feel like I need it right now. But also sometimes I'll use ChatGPT and I'm like, I don't really like the way it's wording things. And so that I kind of like how it's rewriting over on that. But also she does specifically say, put your Claude text in here, and I'm using it with ChatGPT, but I don't know if any of that makes a difference. I think it's just still a generic AI tool because I can still use it even though I'm putting in something ChatGPT says. We're getting low on time because I do need to stop at the top of the hour. So I want to share something interesting with y'all. So I know I've mentioned before about how ChatGPT has their desktop app now, right? I was using their ChatGPT Atlas browser, which was awesome because it's kind of like a Chrome browser, but with ChatGPT in it. So it could literally see my screen. It was amazing. Well, they discontinued it. I think it was effective this week. So I already got out of the habit of using it because they're like, well, I guess not enough people used it. So I've downloaded the new app, desktop app on both of my laptops, and I'm not really digging it all that much. I have found that it's not, some of the stuff on desktop is not carrying over to the app and vice versa, but I just need to spend more time on it. But here's the thing. So I've been trying to spend more time on this. I'm like, I just need to decide, am I just going to use this in the .com on Chrome, or should I be, because there's all these other features you get on the desktop app. So a couple of days ago, I noticed my MacBook Air, which is not my main computer, but I do use it daily. I noticed it was not holding a charge very long. So I was kind of freaking out because I was thinking, sometimes like the battery will just all of a sudden, it's just boom. Okay, you either need to get a new battery if you can, or just get a new computer. And that was the only problem, because it's a MacBook Air. It's not super powerful, but I like it for just around the home. It's lightweight, and I use it for lightweight things, not anything major and heavy, certainly not video editing and stuff, unless I'm using a desktop app, not something like Camtasia that needs a lot more power. So, I'm thinking it's the battery. The laptop is from 2020, so I wasn't sure what to do. So I'm like, I ought to see if ChatGPT can help me. So it had me open the activity monitor, and I kind of know what that is. I don't think I've looked at that probably not since I've had this particular laptop. It's something I remember from a long time ago, but it had me go look at that. And it basically was telling me, I did a screenshot, and it's like the energy impact from the ChatGPT desktop app was just sucking out everything out of my computer. And here was what's so funny. I wasn't even using it. It was open, but I wasn't using it. And because it's a standalone app, it was in the bottom tray. But on my computer, you have to put your mouse down at the bottom to show you your bottom tray. I don't have it up at all times. So I didn't even see it down. Like, I wasn't paying attention. So it's been open on that laptop for who knows how long, right? I mean, I had noticed this battery drain going on for probably close to a week, and I was really freaking out. I was like,
Wow.
dang, I've never had to charge my laptop so much. And it was just the funniest thing. And I just
Did
was
you report it? I'm sorry.
Well, so I was curious if like other people are having this problem too. So I had ChatGPT do a deep dive. I said, find out. I want you to go do a deep dive and find out, is this an issue? And
4 minutes.
It found, okay, thank you. It found that, yeah, this was being talked about, especially in Reddit, that people were having issues with this. So my lesson in this was, I was having and this happens in all kinds of things in my life. I was having a computer issue, and I'm like, is this the battery? I don't know. Let me ask ChatGPT. So I had a conversation, and then it told me, what to go check. And I did a screenshot. I fed it to it. Let me show you the screenshot. And you can see at the top, ChatGPT, it was the energy it was using, 407.3 compared to the next highest, which is the activity monitor itself, 32.1.
That's insane.
And then the 12-hour power is like 783 versus your Google Chrome browser. It's like, it took one look at this and said, your problem is the ChatGPT app. I'm like,
that's
crazy. I didn't even realize I had it opened in my computer because I couldn't see it. So I died. Oh, big lesson learned. So yeah, it was just sucking up the battery and the resources. I mean, like I said, this is not a laptop I use for heavy duty stuff, but it was just sucking it all out. And
crazy. It's good that you checked that though.
Yeah, because it did. I had it go look for, are people talking about this? I wanted to do a deep dive, and it found that other people were talking about it. Now, ChatGPT did tell me that this doesn't prove that every ChatGPT Mac app installation has a problem. It was like, oh, this could have been a bug or some kind of runaway process. But when I took the screenshot before, like here's what my computer's doing, and then after it told me, oh, you need to close the app. I'm like, oh my God, close the app. Then I did another screenshot and it was like, oh yeah, night and day.
Wow.
So Chad helped me determine, because I was like thinking, oh, I guess can I get a new battery? I don't even know how to do that on a Mac, but I figured ChatGPT will help me figure out and assess this so I can figure out what to do. So for now, I'm just going to stick with the ChatGPT in the browser. I'm scared to use this app now.
I would be too. That's insane.
It's just
That's a huge amount of power.
Yeah, the lesson I learned was don't always assume the thing you think it is. It might be something else. And so because I was already putting in my head like, oh great, I got to get a new one. If I still want. I mean, again, I like having my MacBook Air because like I used to do the iPad back in the day. It's really like just having a big iPad, really. And I know they make big iPads now, but I just like the ability to have it as a laptop because I can travel with it. I can do other things with it. Yeah, it's just so lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's nice to have something like that when you don't need the heavy lifting. So, yeah, I was just like, oh my God. But
1 minute, darling.
ChatGPT can be helpful, or your favorite LLM. Yeah, this has been great, y'all. Yeah, thanks for helping me keep track of the time because we get so immersed in this. Sometimes it's hard to be like.
We do.
And there were just a few. I'll save them for next week. Nothing major, but ChatGPT had a couple of new. There was like a Google Drive update that looked interesting. I hadn't had time to play with it. And this new computer history thing, I don't have it, and I'm on a Plus account, so I'm thinking maybe it's for Pro accounts and higher. I'm just not quite sure, but this weird feature where and I could be wrong, but I think from watching this video, it sounds like when you have it turned on and it's through the app, that it can say, it's almost like, I got to research this to be sure. It sounds like is screen recording everything you're doing when you're using it. You're going on different tools on top. I'm like, whoa. I mean, I can see benefits of that, but I also see way more negatives from that.
Yeah, I just quickly searched it, and it says that it is a Mac-only desktop feature that tracks your activity across selected apps and websites to create a searchable timeline of memories. And it's an opt-in feature.
Yeah,
that is on the Pro, Business, and Enterprise
I figured.
in the U.S. So it's
Thanks for checking that. Yeah. I figured because I'm like, I looked high and low. I'm like, how come I'm not seeing it? I'm looking at the guy's screen in his video doing this. And I'm like, I determined it has to be like a higher plan you have to be on to get it. Because I'm on the Mac app. I'm on the $20 a month plan, which is the Plus. But I just didn't have time to like go dig in further. So thank you for that info, Barb. That's good to know.
Sure.
Well, always a great chat here. I can't extend this and keep going like I usually do. And that's just how I am like this. I've always been like, back when I first started doing, coaching, business coaching, God, this was back when Skype was new. So when was that? Woo, this was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Back when you go, I can't believe I just had a business call with somebody in Asia on my computer, and it's right in front of my face, and we're talking in real time. Back like that long ago when Skype was new, but it's just I would always go longer than how about you hired me for like an hour chat. I'm almost always I'll just keep going because it's just how I try to be better, and I try to wrangle myself, and sometimes I do, but many times I don't, because if I'm in the moment, I'll just with whatever I'm doing, and I enjoy this discussion each week, and it's just so much to keep track of and learn and just talk about. So I'll save these. None of these were super pressing, but Barb, thank you for getting that info, because now I'm like, oh, okay, know a little bit more now than I did before.
Makes sense.
As I said, we all learn from each other. So you have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back here next Thursday, like we always do. Later today in my YouTube at Madalyn Sklar, I will add links to all those videos, and that link, if somebody missed it real quick, that watermark tool, highly recommend it. Watermark.sabrina.dev. I would at least hold on to it because It seemed like a simple, easy. I've seen other stuff that look complicated that people put out there. This is the simplest, easiest one I've come across. So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. See you next time.
Bye.
Y'all take care.